Okay, so we're going to do a project called Monumental Letters. We're going to use the letters of our name and draw them in 2-point perspective. And we're going to do this in 3 steps. The first step is going to be drawing our letters in block letters using 2-point perspective. The second step is adding patterns to the front of your letters and graded value scale to the side of your letters. Here is another example. Patterns and graded value on the sides. And the third step is adding your people who are going to be viewing your monument and coloring in the background. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing you need to do is get your paper, and I like to tape down the sides of my drawing paper when I'm doing perspective, because we tend to turn our paper, which sometimes gives us some diagonal lines when we want vertical lines. And you're going to need a pencil, ruler, and eraser for step 1. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to add my 2 vanishing points because I'm going to do my name in 2-point perspective. Okay, so my paper is 8.5. So I'm going to, at about 4 1/4, okay, make my little vanishing point, and let's say left VP, LVP. Slide it on over to the side, line up at the bottom of the paper, 4 1/4, right VP, okay, your right vanishing point. So remember, the vanishing point is where all your converging lines go to, okay? I'm going to add the top guideline from my right vanishing point. This is going to be where the top of my letters are going to stop, okay? I'm going to draw this super lightly because I want to erase it when I'm done, so hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to add my bottom guideline super lightly, okay, because I want to erase it when I'm done. And I went up about 2 inches from the bottom of the paper and about 1 inch down from the top. 1 inch down from the top. Now I'm going to draw my letters, okay? I'm going to lightly sketch out where I want my letters. This is not going to be my end drawing. I just want to, sometimes you have to rework the sizing depending on how many letters you have. Do you have a lot of letters? You're going to have to draw them smaller. If you have just a couple letters, like your name is Joe, you're going to draw them bigger, okay? So I start my first letter about 1 inch in, okay? I'm just gonna lightly draw my letter. And then I wanna leave a little space okay, so I'm gonna continue just my letters are not gonna be perfect, and that's why I'm drawing them super lightly, so I can just figure out. I'm gonna put this at an angle. See, that's why I'm drawing it super lightly. And that looks good enough. Okay. All right. And let's add the middle of my D. There. Okay. So I need these to be straight because perspective is very precise. And that's where my ruler comes in. Okay. And remember I said if you don't have a ruler at home, you can just cut something that has a straight edge, like a folder or something, and then just make sure you kind of mark the edge that is straight, not the side that you cut, because that's never going to be perfectly straight, but mark this edge, and that will be the side that you're always going to draw your line with, okay? So if you don't have a ruler, you can make your own ruler. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten up my lines. So to make sure your lines are straight, always line up the bottom of your ruler. Always line up the bottom of your ruler with the bottom of your paper, because the bottom of your paper is straight, and so is the bottom of your ruler. So you have straight edge against straight edge, you're going to have a straight line. So we want a vertical line. And now I can go a little bit darker from the top to the bottom of my guidelines. Okay. And this, I'm just going to follow my curve as best I can. Okay. fix this wobbly line. Now, before you draw the center of anything, you have to remember that anything that is a horizontal line has to go to the vanishing point. That's one of the rules. So the top and bottom of my O in here, I have to line up to the vanishing point. I'm going to line that up to the right vanishing point. So that's going to be at an angle. My bottom's going to be at an angle. And there we go. Angle. Now remember, I have centers here, and these normally that they would be horizontal. They have to go to my right vanishing point. Okay, so that looks great, but it's not done because now I have to close it off to my left vanishing point. This is 2-point perspective. So before I do that, so I don't have all these lines confusing me, I'm going to erase the guidelines that I don't need. And remember, you drew it super, super light, so they should erase fairly easy. Okay, so to close it off, now we're going to go to the left vanishing point, okay? The rule is you never go through a letter, okay? Stop when you hit a letter. So any open point, open edge, vanishing point, vanishing point. Okay, but I want to close this off. So line up your ruler with the bottom of your paper. You figure out how wide you want the side of your monument. I'm going to stop right there, and that's the side, okay? I'm going to go through, always line up with the vanishing point. Make sure you see the point and you see the edge of your letter. Stop when you hit a letter, okay? Don't forget the centers. If you can draw a line, stop when you hit the letter, you draw it. If you can't, you can't. I happen to be able to do that with that one. My center. Okay, so that one I couldn't really see, so I'm just not going to do that. All right, so now my letters are drawn in 2-point perspective, and this is where you're going to stop for today. Okay, you're going to finish drawing these. If you have to reshape any of your letters, do so. And then this is what you're going to be turning into me in classroom for your first part of this assignment.